Hey, it's me, Raj Baddhan here for BizAsiaLive.com. Now, as you know, this weekend is going to be quite a party. As you know, ahead of Diwali celebrations, we are getting wildly excited because we've got the London Mela, which is happening online this time round. We're talking about the Melatopia, and I've got the artistic director, Ajay Chhabra, with me. Ajay, really good to connect with you. How are you doing?
I'm really good, Raj. Thank you for having me on.
It is really good to see you. First of all, 18 years of the London Mela, and you're back this time round. This time it's going to be online with Melatopia. Tell us a little bit about Melatopia.
So, as many people, the entire events industry and festival industry had to cancel everything this summer, and we had always had an intention of putting on something, doing something. So we came up with this sort of genius idea of doing a virtual reality event. So it's the world's first VR Mela, and what that means is that you can take part as an avatar in a sort of gaming world, but that also wasn't good enough for us because we didn't want to sort of segment the audience. And Mela for us, Mela means to meet or to gather, and Mela is an intergenerational multi-art form show. So it was important for us to have the grandparents there as well as the grandchildren there. So we tried to create a virtual space to be as democratic as possible. So it's going to be across all platforms, all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitch, an app which anyone can download, or just go straight to YouTube. So it's a massive experiment for us, Raj. But I think the important thing was, if not now, when? And we didn't want to do a kind of front room Mela. There's lots of artists who are doing some great stuff, performing, singing, dancing, doing workshops in their front rooms. But we felt there's a sort of saturation of that. What can we do as the London Mela? Constantly trying to be innovative, constantly trying to push the boundaries of creativity. Surely we can do something that brings more people together across the world. And as you know, the South Asian diaspora, you'll have it in your family, I've got it in mine, and many of your listeners and our audiences have a footprint on many continents, not just the subcontinent, but in Europe, in the UK, in North America, in Australia. So we just kind of thought, how do we bring all of those communities that have settled around the world together? And the UK is still a kind of South Asian creative hub. People still do look to the UK in terms of our sort of creative industries, our culture, the way we bring people together. So all of that was important. And as I said earlier, the most important thing was it's now or never. This is the time to step up.
And it is definitely the right time. I think with everyone going online, as you mentioned, with the pandemic that we're living in, what would you say in terms of the kind of tried and tested kind of video Melas that have already taken place? Not exactly Melas, but they have taken place where they've done performances online. There's been events online which have been quite successful. So is there going to be a different way, a different kind of presentation to the London Mela, to Melatopia?
So Melatopia is sort of high-tech Dubai meets the wanderlust of Rajasthan. So imagine turning up in the middle of nowhere, but you're on the edge of a city. So we've kind of set Melatopia in this futuristic gaming world. We've created an oasis. So imagine you sort of stumble upon an oasis in the desert, and in that oasis we've set up a field, fences, toilets. The aesthetic is very much a festival in a field, but it's in a desert, and the aesthetic is our own, our own version of what that could look like. The big difference, I guess, is what we've done over the last 3 weeks is we've created a program where we've invited musicians and dancers and DJs, created a 12-hour program. So it starts 3 p.m. GMT. And it finishes on Saturday the 7th, and it finishes on the Sunday at 3 a.m. So someone somewhere will be up watching Melatopia. The difference is we've created a sort of form of photorealism. So we've green screened each of the artists. So let's just take Raja Kumari in California or Apache in Birmingham. So both Raja and Apache have gone into their own green screen studios. They've accessed their own green screen studios. They've filmed themselves according to our spec. So we've been on the phone, we've been emailing, we've just been saying, when you're filming, these are the do's and don'ts. Yeah. They've then uploaded that recording, that content to us, and then we've literally in a sort of in the kind of technical world, we've cut and paste that recording, that content of them being shot, down the barrel of a camera, and placed them into the gaming world. So it's photorealism meets animation, as it were. So it's look, we're learning something, Raj, every 2.5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to give it to you. I mean, the whole concept sounds fantastic, and it sounds quite intriguing. In fact, I think a lot of people, when they log on Saturday and Sunday, they'll probably see a completely different experience. They'll probably have that kind of experience of a real Mela.
Well, this is it, Raj. Look, this is we're going through the nation. The UK is going through its second lockdown. And this is a time when people really, really need to come together. We always said, when I started the Mela in 2003, we always said, even if it's a one-off, we just want to have a good party. We just want to bring people together, and there's something for everyone. It really hit off in that first year in 2003. It was a great summer. It was hot. 20,000 people came, and then they just kept coming. So I think there's something innately in our DNA that needs, I mean, it's something in our human spirit. It's important for us to be together. That's at our core. And how do we do that in a time of isolation? How do we do that in a pandemic? Well, I think the South Asian community globally is completely and utterly resilient. Yeah, I mean, look at our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents. Every generation, they've had to face some kind of change, and they've picked themselves up and they've got going. And if people like you and I and our audiences grow up in families like that, surely that rubs off.
Indeed, yeah. And actually, I was gonna say, because every time when I see any announcements to do with the London Mela, you just seem to kind of reinvent yourself. I mean, like you said, 18 years of doing the London Mela, it has grown from strength to strength. And I think this has also come at the right time as well. I think doing something online to kind of reinvent itself and to kind of tap into a worldwide audience, because you have obviously been London centric, and everyone obviously around the world has been coming to London to come to the Mela. So I think it's come at the right time. It's also kind of a great testing kind of period for yourself as well. It's a great strategy to kind of test to see the kind of response you get, and maybe next year or the following year you can probably do something which is going to be a bit more regular online as well as the on-ground event.
Yeah, no, you make some very good points there, Raj. Definitely. I mean, look, we never wanted to just do the same thing every year. Yeah, I mean, that's boring, and actually it's not good enough. Yeah. If you call yourself, if you feel that you can create something from nothing, then it's just worth constantly examining that. Yeah, and it's important, and I say this to the team annually, year in, year out. Let's reinvent ourselves. Let's bring in young people that are better than us, are more brilliant than us, think 4 seconds faster than us. That will keep us all on our toes. Yeah, and so every year somebody new comes into the team, somebody creative comes into the team. It's now or never. Now, look, this is a complete and utter experiment and test, and look, we're jumping in completely in the deep end of a swamp. It's not even a swimming pool that you can see the bottom. Yeah, we don't know how deep this Melatopia thing is. Yeah, but whatever it is, we have to make this happen in the spirit that our parents left wherever they left, or our grandparents left wherever they left. These guys left everything. Yeah, so for us to kind of try something different isn't a huge leap of faith. It exists around us. So look, next year, and I want you guys involved. Yeah, I want you completely and utterly,
as we always will be.
But meshed in. At the start of the process, more so than when we have now. But really to start unpicking how can we move it on? How can we take it forward? This is just, look, we've got artists from 5 continents, but we could do better than that. We could do much better than that. I want to get the aunties and the uncles all involved.
Yeah. Ajay, I also, sorry, I think I got cut off there. I do want to talk quickly about the artists this year as well, because I know you've got Jagidi, you've got Raja Kumari, as you mentioned as well, Punjabi Hit Squad. So let's just talk about some of the artists that you got confirmed for this year for Melatopia.
So yeah, so I mean, what was important, Raj, was to curate a program that was gender balanced. You know, there's just not enough women in Mela, and so it was really important to have Raj. Sorry, that's my phone going on. It was really important to have you know, US Indian rapper Raja Kumari headlining the show. Juggy D is doing a fantastic collaboration with a group of tabla players from Southall, BBC Future Music artist Selena Sharma, Roma Saga, Rio J, obviously our kind of house DJs, Punjabi Hit Squad, Jan Ali Khan from Bradford, amazing Gwali group, Punjabi MC, I mean, Apache Indian, you know, total and utter stalwart for Mela, you know, so all of these things coming together. Medieval pundits from Delhi, you know, for any of your older listeners, you know, they've also been reinventing themselves again and again and again. We've got dancers that kind of jump in and out. We've got a ringmaster, you know, so there's some comedy in there, and then we've got a separate feed called Melatopia TV, and Melatopia TV is a kind of retrospective of the past 18 years of Mela. Any of your listeners or viewers will, you know, if they look close enough, they might see themselves at the Mela, because there's loads of crowd shots, you know, loads of close-ups on the crowd, not just on the artists.
Oh, fully interactive. Love the sound of that. Ajay, I mean, you're a very creative kind of guy, and I know you're a very on-ground kind of person when it comes to Melas. I mean, how much personally have you enjoyed this experience in terms of like curating something from scratch and thinking, you know what, I'm going to make it online? Have you enjoyed it as much as you would if it was the online kind of, on-ground kind of buzz?
I have, you know, look, Raj, it's really important to keep learning something new. Yeah. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are. And, you know, VR at the moment, and AR and AI, it's electric. You know, it's of the moment, and it's really important to embrace that new technology and how it can start to enhance what you do. And that was the lens in which I looked at it. The process has been very different, you know, and you'll know this from running your own organization. You know, less face-to-face time with creative people. That's hard. It can be hard because it can be easier to be in a room with people to sort of dream up creative ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But strangely enough, I've actually found the isolation and the distance really rewarding, because it really focuses the mind. You know, when you're doing Zoom calls or having a creative phone call meeting, you're specifically talking about that subject matter. You know, and you kind of get to the end of it, you know, and you kind of cut through quite a lot of stuff which you might not otherwise, you know, and, you know, there's a lot of waffle that can take place, you know, in a creative meeting, and staring at somebody on a monitor kind of cuts all of that out. So I've actually really enjoyed the process. I've really enjoyed managing my time around it. I've really enjoyed learning something every 2.5 seconds. And I've really enjoyed connecting with people on different continents who are going through the same thing. You know, we're all going through a certain sense of change, you know, and particularly our communities. You look, our community's been hit, one of the hardest hit communities in the pandemic, you know, the disproportionality, the way the stories are being written, the way they're being, you know, particularly in the mainstream media, you know, and our communities are really suffering, you know, in a way in which only we know about. So doing this makes it even more important, you know, showing people that ambition and hope can still remain alive in a time of isolation. That's really important.
I agree. No, I agree completely. Ajay, let's just quickly go through the details for the Melatopia. No, Saturday the 7th and Sunday the 8th of November, of course, starts from 3 p.m. on Saturday, finishes at 3 a.m. the following day, which is going to be quite a long journey, and it's going to be live. Like, I mean, it's going to be a global audience, isn't it? I mean, it's not just for the UK audience, but if UK viewers want to stay on till 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday night's not too bad. And of course, we've got the lockdown in place as well, so they haven't got much to kind of do anyway.
Well, this is it. And the other important thing, Raj, is that it's not, you know, just because it's on from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. this weekend, 7th and 8th of November, it'll be available post-event. So if you miss it, you know, for any reason people are not watching it this weekend, they can sign up for something called a Twitch TV account. So a Twitch, TWITCH, is an app, and you can just upload it, you know, and you can just search for Melatopia and you can watch it anytime. It'll always be up there.
And it'll be on your Facebook, and it'll be on your YouTube, and also BizAsia's Facebook as well. We'll get that plug in there as well. We'll also be streaming on our platform as well, and of course on londonmela.org as well. But like I said, if there's anybody or any other viewers want to know about the lineup, it's all available on your website, I believe, londonmela.org. Yeah, Ajay?
Brilliant. Thank you, Raj.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely to finally catch up with you again after such a long period. And I wish you all the best with not just Melatopia, but also the London Mela in future years as well. Of course, BizAsia, we're proud to be partners with yourselves.
Excellent, Raj. And look, I just want to say, look, one of the big things that I've learned from the last 6 months is this interconnectivity. You know, the only way this stuff works is if we're interconnected. You know, and there's a sort of a more meaningful way of relying on each other more than we've ever done before. So it's great to be connected, and thank you for your support as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ajay. All the best with Melatopia this weekend on all the social media platforms, and of course, londonmela.org as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.